Leanne, if I may, or both. I just have a what-if question, okay? Could you bring up the screen with all the TELSHOR funding that's being spent?
Am I going the wrong way? Okay.
And if I'm
Sorry.
correct, this amounts to about 28 million.
Yes, sir, it does. For the record, Leanne Demush, Finance Director. Mayor, Councilor Mattiace, you are correct, 28.3.
Okay, can I ask you, what if you didn't have the TELSHOR fund? Where would you find the 28 million?
That's a,
Tough question.
yes, Councilor, that is a tough question. It would be that we would probably have to go back. It would be either we go after grants. There's the possibility of trying to go after the grants, which our grant team is very robust. We've actually increased our grants tremendously in the last couple of years. But we would probably need to look at either the possibility of loans, bonds as well, sir. And just looking within, I like to say sometimes the cushions of our couch, but just looking at how our general fund as well. So, and I'll see if the city manager would like to even, try to answer that question as well.
Thank you, Leanne. Councilor Mattiace, if it's not in the TELSHOR fund, as Leanne expressed eloquently, we'll have to find room created through some type of referendum tax measure or look in the cushions of the couch.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because we have a 25-26 budget that will be coming up in a year. Then we have the 26-27. So basically, we're going to zero out the TELSHOR fund eventually.
Yes, sir. If that is what the mayor and the council agree upon for 26, 27 moving forward, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Flores.
Thank you. Ms. Leanne Demush, I'm not going to let you off the hook now. Well, the question that Mr. Mattiace, Councilor Mattiace asked was a good one because the TELSHOR fund, the corpus doesn't get touched, is that correct? I mean, the corpus is constantly rejuvenating its funds, its own funds, correct?
As you can, Mayor, for the record, Leanne Demush, Finance Director. Mayor, Councilor Flores, as you can see, our current market value is 42.4. The corpus would be around 30, I want to say 30 million. There was a 26 million, and then later on we received another 4 million, so that would be what we actually received for the TELSHOR. So we have been, as you know, every year we do tap into the TELSHOR for the definition, sick, the indigent. We've been, financing a program that housing and neighborhood housing put together, the 600K. So they're using the interest that we've received on an annual basis. But as you can see, our market value, since the market is doing so well right now, we've been able to take the corpus and invest it, and now our fair market value is about 42.4 million. Hopefully with this, the proposed budget is 28.3, so we are down with the remaining market value of 14.1, which is below the corpus.
Correct, and that's my concern, because that'll evaporate in a heartbeat. I mean, it just, our budget is, it's demanding. So would we be in a position in the future to continue with that kind of funding? And I don't think so. And since I don't think so, what do we do? I mean, next year at this time, that 14,000 or whatever that remains as a corpus won't generate 40,000 or even enough, to sustain a budget as we're proposing right now.
So, Mayor, Councilor Flores, working with our new city manager, we probably would need to work with maybe a financial advisor to try to build that, whatever the council, the mayor and the council want to lead us towards, but we can build that back up if that is something after this year that they want to do. There's whatever the council guides us, that's.
Yeah, well, I don't know how the rest of the counselors think or feel or whatever word you want to use, but I'm in a quandary because I would love to have that money to assure that we provide those services without a doubt. And, but then what? We're going to be Paupersville next year instead of the city of Las Cruces. I mean, what? How do we remedy that? How do we live with that? Literally, how do we live with that?
Can I just add something, Councilor? Do you mind?
Yes, I do. I'd like Leanne to answer, maybe Mr. City
Well, you're
Manager.
asking how we live with that, and so I
No.
want to tell you how I live with it.
No, it's okay. I don't
Okay,
want to.
well, I will add something after Leanne adds something.
So,
Mayor, Councilor Flores, we take direction from the council and from the city manager, so I'm not really quite sure that I can answer your question. This is what we've been directed to bring forward to you in the budget, and there is a big need for all of these that has been shown to us, and that is why it's in the budget. I don't know if the city manager wants to add to that.
looks like Barbara wants to add to that.
Barbara wants.
Did you have your light on? Yeah, I think
Well-
Barbara.
Go with the city manager first. Good.
Thank you, Leanne. Councilor Flores, I serve at the behest of you and Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. As Leanne mentioned, everything we've presented is with some exceptions that came later in the work session of budget. We presented in budget retreat. So those are things that we felt it was the desire of council to come bring, and so we're bringing everything which we felt at the time of budget retreat was presented to come forth in the work session prior. If there are any changes at all, again, I serve at the behest of you and the rest of the council and Mayor Pro Tem. We're here to receive direction from you all. Just wanted to share that and reiterate what Leanne said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Camupeo.
Did you have something to add, Barbara?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Councilor Flores. With respect to the initiatives that we need to fund in the future, really, part of what we would do based on your guidance for what you want to support is to lay out a funding or financial strategy for the various revenue streams that might be out there. Leanne mentioned grants. Of course, we have bond cycling, we have loans, we have appropriations from our state legislators and federal legislators as well, but mostly we're looking for steady streams of revenue in order to fund ongoing programs, which is one of the reasons why a lot of what you see in the proposal today from the TELSHOR funds, not for operations, it's generally for capital projects because it's not a recurring funding source. It's not an ongoing funding source. Really, from a financial standpoint, that's what we're looking for to fund ongoing city initiatives and programs, and that's what we would need to do in order to meet any spending requests that the council lays out for us.
And Mayor, if I can, Councilor Flores, Ms. Bencomo is correct. If you could look at most of what the list is made up for of the TELSHOR, this is mostly all capital expenditures. Thank you so much,
Thank
Barbara.
you so much, Ms. Bencomo, Ms. Barbara Bencomo, and Ms. Leanne, and Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks. I just wanted to add that sometimes I look at the TELSHOR fund much, unlike the New Mexico Permanent Fund, ours is a lot smaller. But the New Mexico Permanent Fund grew to $43 billion.
50, it's at 50.
Billion dollars. And I believe that it is shameful that the state of how our community is in New Mexico, poverty, crime, mental illness, it is shameful that we don't tap into those funds. And I don't want us to do the same thing with a fund that we have that is able to invest in housing, to invest in our parks, to invest in many of these proposals that will help our community directly. And I think it's an important, it's a hard consideration. There is no making this decision lightly. And we are faced with some tough challenges and with a bank account that is right there for us to use. And I would hate to follow the lead of New Mexico having $43 billion available to use, invest in our communities, and they don't.
Mayor?
Councilor Mattiace.
Yeah. Leanne, I was just bringing up because I'm thinking of the long-term investment of that $42 million fund. It could bring anywhere from 4 to 5, and if interest rates go up 6, 7 million every year, let's say for the next 10 years, that's $60 million. That's $60 million that we could have recurring over 10 years that we could put into things that we need in the city of Las Cruces. So that was my concern, that if there was another strategy, if there was another way for the capital needs, either through loans, through bonds, that might have been wiser, because then we have our cake and eat it too. We would still have the $60 million over 10 years. I'm only here for another 3.5. But you're right, in the last 8 years, things need to be fixed. The parks are a mess. Crime is up. Unhoused is up. Mental illness is up. Everything needs an immediate Band-Aid. And so that's what we've done here. We've taken a fund that would have given us $60 million over the next 10 years, and now it will give us maybe $900 to $1 million a year if it's down to 14 million and interest rates are what they are now. So if you take $1 million a year for 10 years, we just threw out $50 million that the city could have actually utilized. So that's my only concern, and I'll just vote the way I feel. Thank you.
From the public,